Just want everyone to get scared for 1 second thinking I cut my hair. I didn't cut my hair, people. Oh, for goodness sake, how do I minimize the screen here? There we go, minimize, that's better. It's not a joke, by the way. The city has postponed Halloween. They notified people to celebrate Halloween on Friday, November 1st, because apparently the weather's gonna be too bad or dangerous to celebrate Halloween on October 31st. I'm not joking. I'm going to read you the notice from the mayor of the city of Montreal and from the city of Montreal's Twitter handles right now. La ville de Montréal invite les citoyens et citoyennes à passer l'Halloween vendredi en raison de la pluie et des vents violents annoncés demain, ainsi qu'à prioriser la sécurité. Les services municipaux seront au rendez-vous. Translation: the city of Montreal is inviting citizens, female and male, that is the citoyens, citoyennes, to celebrate Halloween on Friday because of rain and violent winds which are announced or forecast for Halloween, and to prioritize security. And from Valérie Plante, the mayor of Montreal's Twitter feed, weather warning. I invite small and big Montrealers to celebrate Halloween on Friday because of rain and violent winds which are announced for tomorrow, that being Halloween. As an act of protest, I'm going to buy about 1,000 pounds of pumpkin right now. Ah, the good old Ford Explorer. Nobody is canceling Halloween for me. Delicata squash, by the way, if you want a great delicata squash recipe, I'll post the link to that video right here. Here.
And we are making what I am coining delicata.
We're gonna stop this. Stop. Enough of this crap. Go back and check out the Viva cooking videos. They were good. Do I look tired? Do I look haggard? Good morning, everybody. I may have bitten off more than I can chew. I was letting the locals community know this, that Marion is leaving me for a week, 6 days. So she's taken off. I'm going to be solo parenting for 6 days. The day that she is taking off, I, have, what's the word? I'm going on with Jeremy from the quartering at 1 o'clock. I'm going on with Jenna Ellis at 4 o'clock. I'm going to bridge the ties, people, between the DeSantis crowd and the Trump crowd. I'm going to bridge those divides so we can all come together and save the country from the imminent demise that would be another Biden or Gavin Newsom, another 4 years. 3 million illegal immigrants coming across the border this year. Amazing. So that's 4 o'clock. There's other stuff. Then there's the family stuff in between, and I got to get a car vlog out. And anyways, that's it. I've stretched myself too thin, but it's going to be fantastic. Today, however, because I missed yesterday's stream, I have to do a stream today. I mean, you guys know what's going on. Canada is going crazy. Quebec is going crazier than Canada. The world is being torn apart at the seams. And yesterday, I testified in a criminal trial. I can make it public now. I don't even know the names of the people, so it doesn't really matter. But I testified remotely. This is so good, people. I testified remotely in one of those criminal prosecutions for mischief out of Ottawa. So imagine this, people. I took the sign off the wall because I didn't think the judge wanted to see Viva Fry, and I actually wore a buttoned-up shirt. But I was called to testify so that video clips from my Ottawa coverage could be admitted as evidence, because for those of you who don't know, if you want to admit a photograph or a video as evidence, you have to have the person who took the photograph, the person who took the video. Yes, I took that. It was on February 8th, 9th, whatever. Yes, that's what the scenery looked like. Yes, that was on my iPhone. And I did that, and it was fantastic. And the funniest part was the clips that were being played. It had a lot of commentary. And I'm listening to me back in the day, short-haired Viva. I'm losing it, but I haven't lost it yet. But I'm getting to the point where, I'm realizing that things aren't exactly what I thought it was. And I'm listening to the commentary, and I'm like, holy crap, I was making sense back there. There's no way a judge can listen to whatever I look like now. There's no way a judge can listen to what I was saying back then and say he was wrong. There's no way. There's just no way. I'm walking the protest, talking to people. People are waving. Somebody calls me somebody in one of the clips, as I'm walking by them on the street, they didn't like me. They knew me. They didn't like me. They said, go back and F your cousin. And I'm like, oh. So I testified And it was fun. And so we're going through the video, and, I don't know what the charges were. I don't care. I didn't want to know anything. I didn't want the Crown in cross-examining me to say, were you prepped by the other lawyer? Which I wasn't. I was prepared for them to ask that. They didn't ask it. I was prepared for them to pull up tweets where I tell Justin Trudeau to kindly go F himself. They didn't do that either. And it was fun. Lasted like 2.5, 3 hours, so it's a good thing I didn't schedule a stream yesterday. Today. Okay. I don't even know where to start to describe it, because Quebec City has effectively outlawed, they haven't outlawed as in recall, but they've prohibited the use of solid fuel devices. Anything that burns solid fuel, wood ovens, wood stoves, wood heaters, corn, they've banned them because of alleged air quality problems in Quebec City. It's such bullcrap, it will blow your mind. We're going to talk about Tucker Carlson, the interview that's going to rock the world. I put out a vlog yesterday, and it's the hypocrisy. People say it's hierarchy. It's not hierarchy. It's lawlessness. We'll talk about it. Crumbley's mother getting convicted. Look, I got a little traumatized from my discussion with Barnes, because apparently I don't know any of the facts of the case, and I should just shut my big mouth. Not to say I predicted it. It was an easy prediction. They were looking for a conviction, and they convicted her. We'll talk about that briefly and some other stuff. But my brother's coming in about 8 minutes. And there's another tentative guest who might be coming in. But I don't want to spoil it, and that's it. What was I just about to say? Oh, yes, that's right. Before we even get into anything, let me make sure that we are live across the interwebs. We're live on Rumble. We are live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Let me make sure we're good here. We're good here. And we're live on YouTube. For those of you who don't know how this system works yet, I am Viva Fry, former Montreal litigator, people. Former. I don't want anyone thinking I'm speaking in any official capacity as a lawyer. Former Montreal litigator turned current Florida Rumbler. And we start off on YouTube, Rumble, and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Then we end on CommieTube, and we take the party over to Rumble exclusively. And then when the stream is over, we head over to our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community for a little after party. And I'll probably put it on supporters only today, to thank our supporters and give them a little something extra for their financial support, to allow me to keep doing what we're doing here, which is document the fall of the world in real time. And now, let me make sure, because I'm absolutely neurotic. I checked it. Okay, good. You may have noticed as you come into the stream, it says this stream contains a paid promotion, because it does, people. Hold on. I'm going to share this, because our sponsor of the day, of the week, well, of the day, is fieldofgreens.com. Field of Greens. I have it here, people. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna show you here. Well, you'll understand what I mean to say when I say it looks like swamp water. It tastes delicious. Let me see if we can do this. This is the Field of Greens. You stir it around, and I don't want to poke my eye out. I'll lose an eye live stream. That one has lemongrass in it, and it's delicious. It's desiccated greens, not an extract, not a supplement. Food. Hence why you see USDA organic. Where is it? Right here. Right there. USDA organic. Most people know this, but most people don't. You're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day, and most people don't have that. Most people don't have healthy food habits, healthy exercise habits, and we saw the consequences of that during, do I start calling it so-called COVID? No, I won't get there yet. During COVID. Being unhealthy is like the opposite of being healthy, which pays dividends. Get healthy habits. Weed out the unhealthy habits. You're supposed to have 5 to 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day. Most people don't have that, especially when they're traveling. Field of Greens, 1 spoonful has 1 servings of raw fruits and vegetables. And if you do it twice a day, which is what you're supposed to, you get all the antioxidants, you get all the healthy stuff, boosted immunity, antioxidant power, full serving of fruit, full serving of vegetables right there. And it's delicious. Go to Viva. Go to fieldofgreens.com. It'll bring you to Brickhouse Nutrition. Promo code VIVA. We'll get you 15% off your first order. But just eat vegetables instead. Now, first of all, you can do both, Chris. Eat your fruits and vegetables, but you can't always do it. And also, people need routines. They need healthy habits. And people sometimes have the routine of a cup of coffee in the afternoon. Fine. Other people have the routine of an energy drink in the afternoon, a sugar-packed, toxic can of crap. Others have the diet energy drink thinking they're being healthy. Aspartame is not good for you. So swap it out with a healthy habit. And yes, Chris, I make the joke every time. It looks like swamp water, and that is because swamp water is where life is born. And it tastes delicious. Hold on a second. Oh, shut up, maple syrup. Took your advice to exercise, and so far I've lost 4 pounds. I was actually thinking about this the other day, how losing weight is like among the most difficult things in the world because people, first of all, Maple, congratulations and keep it up. Putting on weight happens so gradually and so slowly, you don't see it happening. And then at the end of the year, you're like, oh, I weigh an extra couple of pounds. Next year, I wake up. And then before you know it, they say the average person puts on like a pound or two a year. After 10 years, that's 20 pounds. And it happens so slowly, it doesn't come off quickly. And it's a dedication to say day in and day out, I'm going to do something that I know in a year or two is going to yield benefits, but I'm not going to see it in real time. And that's how difficult it is to keep pursuing it so that after a year, you're like, holy crap, I've lost 4 pounds. I feel better. My joints hurt less. I can run. If I need to outrun the zombie apocalypse, I can now run a solid 3 miles without losing my breath. Okay. Now, what I was about to say, when my brother gets in, we'll bring him in. If you haven't heard the news, I'll bring up the French article and I'll translate it in real time. I'll preface this now. We're going to start with the Quebec nonsense. Here we go. Look, I'll bring this up here. My brother tweeted it yesterday. And I'm not that I'm calling my brother a liar. I wouldn't call my brother a liar because he's not. But every now and again, I see something. I'm like, holy crap. I know my brother wouldn't lie. Did my brother misunderstand something? He's been living in Ontario for a long enough time. Did he misunderstand the French? My brother tweets out, for the first time in its history, Quebec City has put its entire population on, quote, wood-fire lockdown, proverbially speaking. Presumably relying on air quality guidelines established by the WHO. Who? Reasonable, worth it. Doesn't look at this. So I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? I go and look, and I get the article. Journal de Québec, le Journal de Québec, which means the Journal of Quebec, for those of you who don't know. Interdiction d'utiliser des poêles et foyers à partir de mercredi à Québec. Now, I translated this and mildly inaccurately because poêle means a couple of things. It could mean pan, it could mean pan fry, it could mean stove, it could mean oven. It also could mean naked, but I think you spell it differently. À poil means, nothing but your hair, spelled differently. Okay, so the headline doesn't even limit it to wood burning. It just says restriction on using ovens and foyer, like heating blocks, or kitchens, foyer, things to heat. As of Wednesday in Quebec, La Ville, the city, is issuing a notice of a temporary restriction for the first time in its history because of the deteriorating air quality. That's what the headline and the byline says. Go into the article. I'm not going through the whole thing. Look at this. Stéphanie Martin, le 6 février 2024. Il sera interdit. Listen to this. It's like, hey guys, we own your asses. Il sera interdit d'utiliser une poêle à bois et un foyer à partir de mercredi midi. I'll just translate it instead of reading it. It will be forbidden to use a wood-burning stove or a wood-burning heater as of Wednesday noon in Quebec. For the first time in its history, the city has issued a notice, temporary restriction, because of deteriorating air quality. And then we can go read the article, which we're going to read. But first, this caused me to go back to my canceling Halloween. Pre-COVID, I didn't realize how what's the word when you predict something? Prescient? My rage at canceling Halloween would become under COVID and wherever else they're going. It's effing nuts, and there's no but about it. Now, I see my beautiful gray-haired brother in the backdrop. Everybody, let me just make sure that we're good everywhere here. Okay, here we go. We're good there. All right, I'm going to bring him in. You may know my brother from such... Okay, I was going to make a joke that other mothers, it doesn't matter. He's my brother. He's my actual blood brother. Daniel Freiheit, you're in.
Hey, what's going on?
Dude, your background looks totally blurry. Is your house okay?
I was thinking about whether to go with the virtual background. Oh, that's better.
Yeah, that's better. But now, well, hold on. Neurotic. Center your. There you go. Center your face.
No, it's the artistic. Is you go. It's the third, right? You go to the
only if you're trying to do art and not symmetry. But hold on, Dan. Talk for a bit, and I'm going to make sure that our audio levels are good.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, because I said I was going to be screaming, right? So is it too loud?
Well, let's see. I'm going to see what our chat has to say.
I didn't test my audio. Good point.
No, I'll test it on my end. But so Dan, explain for the world who you are if they're just meeting you for the first time.
Yeah, my name is. I only promote myself as Lion Advocacy. You guys can do the rest. I don't promote my other work. I'm a lawyer in Ontario, but on Twitter, on the Lion, so my mandate is to raise awareness about the insanity, the use of force during COVID. My mandate is to show that the use of force was not reasonable, was disproportionate. There are other ways of achieving valiant outcomes in this whole pandemic.
Dude, I've hated the word mandate from the year 2007 when we first became lawyers. I'm like, did you get a mandate? What mandate are you working on? You go to your senior lawyer and like, here's the mandate. It's like mandate. And I've hated that word for a decade, and I hate it even more now. So you're fighting the good fight, and literally for the people who need the help.
And sometimes it translates into other paid work in terms of wrongful dismissals, and I can't say the other stuff is paid, like vaccine injuries. I've a handful of folks that I'm trying to help get some money. I can't say that that's paid work necessarily because I think the vaccine injury support program ran out of money.
What was their budget?
Their budget was 2.something million, 2.7, I think, with a good shot, and then plus several million going to the program manager, and so I don't know that there's actually any money approved for, and then they exceeded that in the past 2 years since the vaccines rolled out. So that to me is immediately a flag. If you've launched and forced people to get vaccinated with something that you didn't properly budget for because it's causing more injuries than you expected, that's a bit of a flag for people who like to use what we call human reason. But I can see that that's not very popular these days.
Just to please the YouTube overlords, am I getting a Brickhouse Nutrition ad on my CBC News article? Field of Greens, you're getting a double ad here. 2.8 million paid out so far by the Vaccine Injury Support Program. Claimants express frustration over how long the agency in charge is taking to process claims. And I don't know if I see the budget in here. They paid out let me see if there's a budget. But the word budget doesn't come up, and I don't know. 2.8 million paid out so far, and if they don't have the budget, they're going to make it exceedingly difficult for people to succeed on their claims.
Correct. If I'm managing a fund that has to pay out claims and there's not enough money coming in to pay those claims, what do? You slow it down a bit. You slow down the claims. It's the only logical thing you can do. And when you do that, so also you have to possibly fire people. So it's going to delay things in that regard. You delay the claims, make people wait. Some people aren't going to wait because they're going to die. So that's a bit of a problem. And then you kind of reduce the payout that way. Sorry.
Well, do you know if we know that in Sean Hartman, Dan Hartman's son's case, he got his expert to definitively show, that he can resubmit or appeal his vaccine injury denial. Do you know? Has there been an update on that? I was just looking.
I don't know the status of that, but yeah, I guess you can appeal within the Vaccine Injury Support Program itself, which is the cheapest way to fight these things is through the Vaccine Injury Support Program, because going through the courts, as everyone knows, it'll be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and if you lose, you have to pay so it's like double the injury, right? So. Yeah, the best way is to use a vaccine injury support program and kind of hope that it pays out in time and pays out the right amount. But
it's capped at $250.
Yeah, there's even it's like even a death loss of something like that, not even adjusted for inflation. And but the reality is that, and that doesn't prejudice. So even in the case of Dan Hartman, I think they could still even pursue a claim outside of the vaccine injury support program, and then just have that offset against for punitive or whatever damages. So it's pretty wild.
Well,
it's pretty wild. And by the way, and I've talked about this before on your show, but what's even more wild is that when Trudeau launched this program, it was specifically with the assurance that you could find it on my I have it posted somewhere, but it was the announcement in December of 2020 was specifically publicly on the representation that vaccines are very, very rarely cause any kind of serious injury. 1 in a million, I think Trudeau's public statement was on this. 1 in a million of a serious adverse event from a vaccine. And so everyone kind of was duped by this presser. And I may take that up later somehow, some way, but that was a representation that was not founded in any semblance of fact or,
Add it to the list, Dan. Add it to the list.
Yep.
But that's not what was raging you last night. You put up that tweet, Dan. I'm like, no, you must be misunderstanding something. They can't. First of all, okay. So I read I read a bit of the article. We're not going to go too far into it. Quebec City, for those of you who don't know, population, I'll say 250,000. That might be too much. It's like a clean, beautiful city, 2.5 hours east of Montreal, right on the St. Lawrence River. The air quality there, by and large, is exponentially better, cleaner, fresher than anywhere else, any other big city, because it's not a big city. So when you put out this tweet that says that they're banning wood-burning stoves and foyer, I'm going to have to Google the translation for foyer, but like...
I think it's a foyer.
Yeah, but it's like things that heat the house, by the way. I mean, the people use wood-burning stoves to heat houses. That they're banning it for an indefinite period of time because of poor air quality. I had many questions. You're going to answer one of them. How the hell are they measuring the air quality?
Well, they have stations. I remembered it because I was interested when they did this for Toronto with when they determined that the air quality was so dangerous they had to shut kids down from sports back in the summer. Same trick. I'm like, wait. You're stopping sports again for kids. Kids need sports, kids actually need to move around. So I started looking into the air quality readers where they were located in the city. And there's a lot of variance within the city between air quality. I'm like, and even under a tree, you can get better air quality. It's like there's pockets of air, there's air bubbles. We lived in bubbles with a bubble for 3-4 years. So you have to factor that into account. The air quality is not uniform. And so let people make their own decisions when it came to sports and stuff, like depending where they are located in the city to choose. Because I had an issue with the schools shutting down across the board, all outdoor sports. You're off on a population.
No, I was wildly off.
You're spreading this information.
It's 5. Now I'm trying to rationalize my own mistake. Well, that's just the greater Quebec City area is 800 and some odd. But I'm going to check the growth because that is much.
That seems high. That seems high.
Dude,
unless that's where all the newcomers to Canada have
well, unless my memory is stuck when I went to law school, which was back in 2000 and change, and then it was about 200 and some odd thousand. All right, fine. So I haven't updated my database in 20 years.
But okay, so air quality. So yeah, there's a whole bunch. I'm not the expert on air quality, but just looking over, there's different metrics of what's in the air. Like I think there's ozone. There's different particulate matters of different sizes. So I think the one that flagged for this lockdown was the 2.5 micro nanometer, whatever, the smallest particles. Those were higher than the guidelines, so we got to shut her down.
It's. I mean, I don't know what the. So I'm bringing up your tweet and the graph.
Oh, look at that! Look at the 2005 AC. Okay, so in 2005, okay, what number did they use? 25. Right now, and that's I think average over the 24-hour period. Right now, I think they are measuring 17. So 17 is below the 2005. So the air is. This would have been fine 3 years ago, but because of the World Health Organization, suddenly you got to shut down Quebec City from the fires. And by the way, Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal have actually blocked fires in the cities. You can't have a fire. I think in Montreal for sure, and I think Ottawa I heard as well. But how'd they do that? A little thing called debate. They had to debate it in city council because you can't right. It's called democracy. Remember this thing we had before COVID?
No. Now it's all emergency orders.
Now what Quebec City did was now it's an emergency because of the World Health Organization changed the guidelines. So now it's an emergency. We don't have to debate it. It's an emergency. And by the way, other cities use the emergency trump card too. I think Hamilton uses this for drug. A lot of cities are doing it for drugs. Drugs an emergency. which initially I was opposed, but then, am I too loud, by the way?
No, you're good. But I mean, first of all, drugs I could understand as being an emergency, but they're going the other way in British Columbia. What are they doing? They're using the emergency order to decriminalize drugs?
I think they're using just to allocate more resources and I'm not sure, open up, I think bypass the normal democratic process, which I would kind of freak me out a bit. But then when I saw what was happening in Hamilton, I was like, go for it. Because I don't think people understand these are not drug overdoses. This is actually, I believe, should be looked at as a bioweapon. The way the kids are dying from these drugs, it's not like normal overdose. This is like poisoning, and there's some force behind it, intentional poisoning of kids that are not drug addict. Like, these are not drug addict kids. These are kids that sometimes just make a single mistake and die as a result. And so, friggin' declare an emergency, bring in some responsible law enforcement or officers to figure out where these supplies are coming from and crack down big time. But anyhow, that's another rant.
Let me understand this. The WHO recently sets new air quality guidelines.
Yeah,
and
to save lives.
Quebec declares basically an emergency to prohibit wood burning stoves and heating units.
To save lives, Dave. I mean, Viva, it's to save lives.
No, but it's so wild. It's beyond words.
Well, and this is the question: what's the net effect? So yes, it'll definitely reduce smoke. Was that really a source of major air quality problems in Quebec City? Was there a report? Was there an investigation? And you're stopping people from having fires now. So some people are going to be detrimentally affected, either financially or their own health. Some people may not be able to have fires, or they're so scared maybe they'll die or have to check into ER for some reason. Has that been studied? No, don't have to. It's an emergency, and we declared the emergency based on these guidelines from the WHO that have changed in September 2021. And you know it as well as I do what was going on in Quebec in that time period. That was right after we were all discombobulated from 3 months of friggin' locked in your house, no sunsets. So they did the old 1-2 punch you in the gut with the lockdowns, and while you're recovering, they go to declare the friggin' change of the guidelines.
Well, I don't know. It's absolutely inexplicable and unbelievable, and a preposterous joke. Set aside the fact that people use wood burning stoves to heat their houses. We're now in the dead of winter. And they're going to tell people, some people, my mother-in-law uses a wood burning stove to heat the house. So they'll have to turn that off and go to electric if they have that capacity. And if they don't, the other thing is, what are they going to do? Are you going to have your Quebec Gestapo running around looking for smoke coming out of chimneys?
They will. They love it. They love doing that stuff. Sûreté de Québec is all over that. They're going to see this. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Pun intended.
Right? So, but here's the thing too. The social consequence, right? You're going to have a house. It's pretty cold. Okay. It's like, let's say weather goes down to -20. Air quality is really bad still. I don't know how.
More likely to get sick.
Okay. Dad wants to start a fire. Mom says, no, we're going to get a ticket. Dad says, I'm really freezing. Mom says, don't do it. This is what families are now going to deal with. These are the social implications of these policies that need to be studied and discussed and debated. Because yes, it's going to be exactly like COVID. The people who were willing to take risks, people who weren't, then the lawyers have to pipe in. Hey, I think I may freeze overnight. Am I allowed to start a fire? What's your legal opinion? Oh, well, I can't tell you to break the law, but the law says you can't start a fire and you'll get a ticket. So, but if you have to survive, if you're worried about your health or safety, I guess do it, and then deal with the fine later, or raise that in the defense when the Crown drags you through a $5,000-$10,000, what is it? I don't even know, $50,000 fine. Go nuts. 6 months jail. Go full tilt.
It is. I'm just going to send the link to. I think we're going to have a special guest
breathe.
No, because we had this discussion when they've shut down the investigation, Sweden, into who bombed the Nord Stream pipeline. They're not going to be able to identify them. It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Can't see this. We don't know who the cocaine in the White House came from. But we can get Grandma up in Alaska because she traveled to Washington. When they blew up the pipeline, whoever it did, we don't know who it was, but as a result, in Germany, in England, they were saying you have to turn your thermostats down. You have to preserve energy because, we're going through an energy crisis. Barnes and I were talking about like the 2 degrees will be the difference between an old person, a vulnerable person who can't necessarily pay the increased cost of living, turning it down and getting sick and then dying, going to the hospital. And it's not hyperbole. This is just the way it works. You're going to have the same thing out of Quebec. I'm checking now the demographics of age population because I do recall Quebec City being relatively older. You're going to have them saying, you're going to have people getting sick because they can't heat their houses properly. Then they're going to say, well, the hospital system's overloaded, lockdown because of that. I mean, they canceled Halloween, Dan. Do you remember them canceling Halloween?
Honestly, I've kind of like buried some of that stuff. Canceled Halloween. Was that in Quebec?
It was in Montreal. It was Valérie Plante, the woman who's now, having mysterious collapsing spells after having,
was it an actual cancellation or strong recommendation or like? Oh,
they said we please celebrate on November 1st because of strong winds. Right. Oh, the weather. That was out of Montreal, but it's wild. It's
look, as long as people know. By the way, look, fires are also dangerous. Fires also kill. Okay, so you got to weigh the thing, and you weigh the thing by letting people friggin' decide, let them be informed, teach them the risks or provide information. But these emergency declarations, it's creating this mindset of crazy that's starting to percolate through the entire civil society. And it's not the correct way of thinking or governing your society with this constant pretext of emergency over everything.
Just emergency decrees. But we've now bypassed, circumvented democracy. I'm going to bring this up here. Hutchie says foyer equals fireplace. Yes, foyer is a fireplace. And then poêle is a wood-burning stove. But the thing is, the ordinance... Oh, no, hold on. I'm going to bring that up in a second. Finboy Slick says, Viva Barnes Law, locals unleashed Viva car vlog. Pushed my skills to my limit, but I think... Hold on. Well, I'm going to go see what... I'm going to screen grab this and just see what that is in a second. I have your next car vlog right here, Viva. I outdid myself on that one. Link in the next rant. Okay. And Bargisa Ariane says, Viva, who's funding this... They're leaving leaflets in several languages. Al otro lado. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Barbisa. But hold on a second. I've got to bring up the tweet from the city of Quebec. And I swore again last night because I told them, you guys are a fucking joke and everybody on earth is going to understand you guys are clowns. Hold on. Tucker Carlson, Randy Mayo. Dude, where is the Is this the one? I think this might have it. Here we go. This is the tweet from La Ville de Québec. Avertissement de détérioration. And also winter is when you have the cleanest air by and large. Just because of weather stuff. The city of Quebec is going to... Well, I'll just read the English. All solid fuel appliances throughout the territory. And you have to Google what solid fuel appliance is. A solid fuel appliance is any heater that uses wood pellets, coal, or even agricultural corn as fuel. Some people have. Dan, we grew up with what was it called in the basement there? The furnace.
Oil.
I mean, that's a. I mean, am I wrong or is that a solid fuel? That would qualify.
Coal? No, that's liquid.
I think oil would fall. It uses solid fuel.
No.
Or liquid. I mean, it's liquid.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That would be liquid fuel. No, they can't stop liquid because liquid natural gas or natural gas. They can't stop everything. Anything physical wouldn't be included. I don't know.
Anyways, so all that to say is, by the way, my translation, in as much as it was accurate, is not even as bad as the situation is. Anything that uses wood pellets, coal, can't have a smoker. You want to smoke? What did I just do here?
But by the way,
yeah,
Viva, you're ignoring you. I don't know if you know about this new law that the NDP is trying to crack out. You're not allowed promoting. They're trying to crack down on the promotion of fossil fuels. Did you hear about this one?
No, Daniel.
Okay. We got for later for another chat.
But you can pull up a link. I mean,
I can't find it now. But there's this new draft.
Alexa Lavoie from Rebel News just messaged me. She said, "Have you seen Projet de Loi 50 coming out of Quebec, which is going to tackle the forest fire crisis?" I haven't read it yet.
Cool. Maybe they'll make arson illegal. Is that the plan?
They're going to make it double super mega illegal.
Double super legal. Increase the penalty. No. The NDP, Jasmeet, and I think even on the Liberals want to do this. They want to make it. You cannot. Okay, I don't want to speak too much. You basically can't promote fossil fuels because they're basically so dangerous to society. So I don't even. So the combination of these two, the Quebec's emergency law and the fact that you can't actually promote fossil fuel, I'm more like wondering how that would actually play out in this situation in the future. Anyhow,
no, but by the way, you can't promote fossil fuel, but you can promote child genital mutilation. I mean, it's an amazing thing. Sterilizing.
No, they're not.
Your
They're
population.
promoting choice. They're promoting choice. That
the choice, a one-way choice. You can talk them into it, but you can't talk them out of it. The dog just seemed to have pushed open the door here.
Oh, with conversion therapy.
Yeah, no.
I gotta take over. I gotta take over the show now. Okay, so.
Yeah, good luck.
Okay, well, it was good catching up. Thanks for inviting me on. It's the only way we get to chat these days. So hey. Got a little deal.
That's what you call Jewish guilt, people. Why don't you call your brother anymore? You don't know what's going on. It's terrible. Now your face is all red. All right, man. Well, that's good. It's crazy. You put out the tweet, and it's idiocracy in real time.
I like it's getting views but not likes, which means it's getting seen on both sides of the political table, which is kind of what I was hoping for. So keep viewing all people on both sides or whatever, all sides of the political spectrum. I got no dog
in the race.
No dog in this fight. Just a homeless.
You stay with the objective language. Oh, this is crazy. They're going by who? And I say, Quebec City, you've turned yourselves into an international laughingstock, and I'm going to take it to the international waves. And put it on blast. It's insanity. And by the way, if anybody thinks it's just Quebec, no, dude, California's doing this. New York is doing this. Michigan, to some extent. It's the trickle down. We are witnessing a communist revolution in real time. It sounds crazy, but there's no other way to describe it. It's a full government takeover of all private lives and private assets.
Yeah, but again, at least in those situations, they weren't done via emergency legislation, whereas this one.
I think that's how Hitler rose to power.
Until further notice. Further notice, because it's so okay. So now the air is morning. Anyhow, it's ridiculous.
All right, man, go now. The next guest that I've got coming on, and she's confirmed, was recently fined $20,000 for COVID stuff. So we're gonna and contested it, and it was upheld. So we're gonna hear this story.
Upheld. Wow. Okay.
And I believe she was condemned to the fine and court fees and other stuff, which almost matches the amount of the fine.
Where was this? Ontario? Oh, right. I think I heard that.
I know surprisingly few details about it, so I'm just going to have to...
Okay, good stuff.
All right, man, go for it.
Yep.
See you soon, bro.
Ciao.
Okay, bye-bye. You're going down. You smell terrible. Oh, you're so annoying. Okay, let me text the guest, and I think what we're going to do now is move on over to Rumble. Come on in whenever you're ready. Smiley face. Oh, you know what I'm actually going to do here? Check this out. I'm going to go like this. I'll play the video. If I can share this. The story is unavailable. Well, then I can't share it. Okay. Everybody, NDP have become full dictators against the people. It's a crazy thing where like the liberals have become the absolute fascists in every sense of the word. I made the joke yesterday. We'll talk about it when we talk about Tucker Carlson. But like, when a tweet reverberates throughout the interwebs, it's either because it's insanely stupid or because it's insanely observational. And in the case of my tweet, it wasn't insanely stupid. You do recall people complaining that Putin is a total autocrat. He locks up journalists. And these same MFers are now literally saying, lock up Tucker Carlson for interviewing Putin. Okay, so what we're going to do right now... Damn thing. Hold on one second. This is very annoying. Okay, we're going to put this behind my back. And that's it. Turtle's fake eyebrows. I think I know what's going on with Turtle if I can project a little bit. I believe it's something called trichotillomania, where he compulsively pulls out his eyebrows and then he tries to fix it by either putting on something fake or coloring them over. And it ends up looking terrible because you can clearly see the lines between where there is no eyebrow and where there is an eyebrow. So I won't make fun of him for that. I'll just make fun of him for being evil incarnate. All right, people, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the link to Rumble, and we're going to come on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com so we can take the party over there. Here, the link is in the pinned comment. Here's the link to Rumble, and I'm going to give you the link to vivabarneslaw.locals.com as well if you're inclined to come to Locals. And then we're going to talk about some other fun stuff. Okay, and not that I care about numbers, because I don't. But I like round numbers. We're almost at 400,000 followers, subs, whatever you want to call it, on Rumble. So maybe we'll get there today. If you're not subscribed on Rumble, subscribe. Let's get to a nice round 400,000 subs. All right, ending on YouTube. But before we do, let me just see if we're still monetized on YouTube. They've been very nice to me these last little while. Let's go to content, live, click on it, monetization. We're still green. Good. We'll see. They'll demonetize it in 2 days and tell me I broke some unwritten rule that they can't specify, because that's how it works. All right, we are ending on YouTube. Come on over to Rumble, the free speech platform, and we will continue this discussion.